Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another round of Mood Reader Tries a TBR. This round I'm just going very simple and going for a TBR prompts in a mug, and I'm going to pick out 5 prompts and try and fit books into those prompts and see what we get. So I don't know who created this as a TBR game or where it originally came from, but I thought it would be an easy way to ease myself back into doing a TBR, because I didn't really do one for December or January. So I thought, you know, going into February we can start with more of a TBR, and then I do have like a big game planned for March. So I guess we'll just dive in and I'll pick out a prompt. I've got a whole mixture in here. I've got things where it's just like a genre, or I've written sci-fi. I've got ones where it's like over 500 pages. I've got like a whole range of different things. I tried to make them very broad so that it wasn't too tricky for me, but we will see what the mug tells me to read. This one. Series, continuation or finale. Okay. Manageable. Oh, I've got choices. And the issue is that I don't know what the mug is going to give me next. And like, what happens if I pick one of the books now that could fit into the next prompt and then I can't get the other books in? Oh, I think we'll go for The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick. This is the second book in the Mask of Mirrors, or the Rook and Rose trilogy. I read Mask of Mirrors back in December and I really do want to continue on with this and see what happens next. I am going to Italy in the first week of February, and I was thinking about this earlier and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I go to Italy and I read a book whilst in Italy that is set in Venice. I mean, I'm not going to Venice, but like, oh, this is Venetian inspired, but I'm going to northern Italy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read that much because I'm going for work, so I might only be able to read like the first 50 pages or something on the plane there and the plane back, but I thought it would be an appropriate book to take with me in any case. And the first week you're following our main character Ren as she infiltrates the merchant houses, and she has this con to become part of the ruling class in this city. Things go a little bit awry. There's lots of different characters which are very interesting to follow. I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen with this now that we know who the Rook is, and see what's going to happen next. And I thoroughly enjoyed like the world building and the magic in the first book. I was a little bit confused, but I think it's really interesting, so I'm very excited to continue on with this series. Right, pick number 2. This one. Okay, what have we got here? Whatever this is. A book with under 300 pages. So this one's really hard for me. Like, I just read big books. I really do just read very big books. I put this in here like, oh, that'll be fine. I won't get it because I never read under 300 pages. Okay, right. You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. I thought I had a good option. Parable of the Summer, but it's 311 pages. Because I pulled off some options already that I really want to read like right now. And why, Octavia Butler, you could have made this 10 pages shorter. You could have put it like, I don't know, some smaller font. Okay, I do have another option. So I really hope The Edge Dancer by Brandon Sanderson is under 300 pages. I assume it will be because it's a novella, but Edge Dancer by Brandon Sanderson will be my under 300 pages. Fingers crossed. It's under 300 pages, otherwise I'm really gonna have to rethink. And this is the novella that comes in between Words of Radiance and Oathbringer in the Stormlight Archive. And I do eventually want to get to Oathbringer because I read Words of Radiance back in November, and I'm just trying to gradually read the series and like space it out so that I don't have to reread before book 5. That's my aim. So I guess February will be a good time to read Edge Dancer and read that novella. So there we go. There's my under 300 pages. Okay. This one. And maybe it's good that I've got something short on my list because I've got so many big books that I want to read. Okay. romance. Okay, romance. Let's have a think. I think for romance, we're going to go on the fantasy romance side, and we're going to go for Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is a self-published fantasy romance, and it's like a King Midas retelling. So I think she's made out of gold. Like, everything's gold. Everything is golden. Gold floors, gold walls, gold furniture, gold clothes. In King Midas's castle, built at the top of the frozen mountains, everything is made of gold, even me. And I've heard that with this one, I don't know if there's that much romance in this book, but I think like as the series goes on, there's more, and it's a bit of not quite what you would expect from a fantasy romance, I think. But overall, I've heard pretty positive things about this. And I know the 4th book, I think, is coming out in May, so I could read roughly 1 book a month in preparation and see how that goes. But yeah, romance, we're going on the fantasy side of romance. Pick number 4 is foiling. So if it has the foiling on the cover. So I believe if the first book has foiling, the second book will have foiling. So this Crescent City is what I'm currently reading, or one of the books I'm currently reading. And this has like the gold foiling here and here. So I would expect that the second book also has some sort of foiling. I will just double check that. Yeah. So looking at the cover of the second book, it looks as though it's going to have this sort of foiling on the moon again, and on like little accents of foiling. I'm going to go for House of Sky and Breath as my pick for foiling, which is the second book in the Crescent City series, and it's coming out later on in February. And I'm really, really excited to it. I'm loving my reread. I'm like 200 pages in as of right now when I'm filming this. I just think it's going to be so much fun. This series is Sarah J. Maas's adult fantasy series. It's more fantasy than romance actually in this one. And the thing is with this book is that the synopsis is a big spoiler. Like, it is. It's a really big spoiler. The synopsis of this book spoils something that happens at like page 70. And although it's like an 800-page book, so I guess it's spoiling something that's within the first 10% of the book, it's still a major spoiler because I knew about it going in, and I wish that I didn't. I wish that I didn't when I first read this book. So it's hard to talk about. But basically, you're following our main character, Bryce. She lives in this place called Crescent City, where there are a variety of magical creatures. So you have the Fae, you have angels, you have vampires, you have every sort of magical creature, mermaids, whatever. And I guess to avoid spoilers, she is tasked with investigating a case. So there is sort of a murder mystery element and these rise of demonic powers. I'm so excited for book 2. I'm so excited for my reread that I'm thoroughly enjoying and having so much fun with. So hopefully book 2 lives up and I devour it the way that I'm devouring this reread. Okay, this one. Latest purchase. Okay, that should be pretty easy. Right, so the latest book that has come into my household is The Light of All That Falls by James Islington, the 3rd book in the Licanius trilogy. So spoiler alert, I've been reading the Licanius trilogy in January. I read the 1st book, I'm currently reading the 2nd book, and so hopefully by the time we get to February, I will be in a good place to start the 3rd book. And this is gigantic. This is like 830 pages. And well, I definitely do want to continue and keep reading this series. I've been told that it's very much best to binge this series and just read everything back to back because there's a lot of details. And I can see that going into the 2nd book that I had 2 books in between reading the 1st book and the 2nd book. And I think that was like a good amount, and that the memories are still fresh, that I still remember everything, that I'm going in with a fresh head, but that I haven't left too much time. And so I think the same will be good for this, that I could keep going relatively quickly and just have a couple of, maybe a book or 2 books in between and then keep going. So that's 5 picks of a chunky stack. It's chunky. So this one is in the place of House of Sky and Breath, so Crescent City 2, if we can just imagine it. It's probably going to be like the same size, except it would be blue. Then we have The Light of All That Falls, this was for foiling. The Lighter Ball That Falls was for latest purchase. The Liar's Knot was for series continuation, and Guild was for romance, and then Edge Dancer was for under 300 pages. So those would be my 5 official picks, which I think is fine. I think that's okay. I mean, I've got things on there that I really wanted to be on there. I managed to get, yeah, Crescent City 2, which I definitely knew I was going to read. I've got my 2 continuations in series. I've got a romance. The only one I didn't get on there, which I know I have to read in February, is another gigantic book. I'm going to be adding a very large book to this, and that is the Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams. So that's going to be like another 800 pages on top of this. And the thing is, I don't know how realistic that's going to be, seeing as we're currently in like the 23rd of January as of filming this, and I've literally finished 4 books in the month of January. I've not really been reading very, very quickly. And suddenly I'm expecting to read like all the long, chunky books, plus another long, chunky book on top. We'll see how that goes. So the Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams, I don't know that much about it, apart from that it is an older work of fantasy, epic fantasy, and it is the inspiration behind a lot of currently writing fantasy authors. I've heard that there's like a castle and secret passageways, I think, but that's literally like all I really know. I really cannot say very much about the plot. I am going to be buddy reading this with Joanna from Joanna Souza, Sam, who is on Instagram at Tome Tower, and Monet at Life as Monet. We are all going to be reading this sometime in February, so I don't quite know when I'm going to fit that in amongst these, but we shall see. That is my plans for February. I don't think I have anything else that I need to add. Lots of chunky books. Yeah, very chunky. It's a month of like behemoths. And February's a short month, and I'm away for the first week. So who knows how that's all going to go. And it's still a busy time at work, like, So there we go. Those are the rough plans. Yeah, maybe I'll put the page count up on screen. I'll work it out, and we'll see if I think that's going to be possible or not, because I don't know if it's going to be possible looking at the books like this, but maybe the page count will like help or maybe hinder, or who knows. Okay, so that is TBR jar prompts picks my TBR. Let me know what you are going to be reading in February, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye.